In the beautiful hills of upstate New York lies the famous historic racetrack of Watkins Glen International. Built in the 1950s, this North American monolithic circuit stands 3.4 miles long in its longest configuration and just under 2.5 miles in its shortest configuration. Welcome aboard to GRIDLIFE iRacers Tuesday Fun Run, week number 5, this time with the 1987 NASCAR stock cars at Watkins Glen Classic. I'm Kyle Hired, everybody. Welcome aboard. Just me tonight. Wild, wild day running back and forth between the GRIDLIFE office and my home studio here producing this esports event. Just came off, if you're watching on Twitch, of course, the GRIDLIFE Rules Q&A that Chris and Adam and Charlie and Sean had just finished up. I buzzed on home a couple miles down the road, jumped in the seat here and getting ready to go racing tonight for our heat racing format. Over 50 cars here in 1987 stock cars ready to go racing on the banks and the straights of Watkins Glen. Heading down to the racetrack, qualifying is underway, and at the top of the standings in practice, perhaps to no one's surprise, was this guy. Tom O'Gorman was fastest in practice, and he has long advocated for us to use these cars here in a official GRIDLIFE iRacers week, and here he is in the number 94, the Kodak Film Oldsmobile, heading down the front straightaway to start his flying lap. And we'll jump on board as we head down the hill towards turn number 1. They call this the 90, down a couple of gears, 4-speed H-pattern gearboxes in these cars. The brakes are bad. The suspension is bad. The aero is bad. These things are a handful to drive. Some said they were the hardest combination that we've ever done in GRIDLIFE iRacers, even harder than the GT1s that everyone fought at Road America. Big slide for Tomo at the top of the hill. He's going to grind that car to a halt and try it again here in a moment. Jump on board with DJ Alessandrini's mellow yellow machine. He's just rolling out now for a qualifying opportunity. Alex Bueller in the number 17 Ford. He enters turn number 6 and heads over to turn number 7 to start his flying lap. Times are on the left-hand side of the screen. If you're unfamiliar with the format, how this goes is we're going to set our qualifying grid. The even qualifiers will be in heat 1, the odd qualifiers in heat number 2, or vice versa. I can't remember which goes to where. And whoop, Bueller's done, and across the line and into the wall down in turn number 1. That was his qualifying effort. Matt Waldbaum goes fastest in the number 12 Chevy with a 111.437. That's his fastest lap of the day. Jay DeVries goes third quickest in the number 12. So we've got our 2 heat races, our even qualifiers and our odd qualifiers. The top 15 in each heat will transfer straight to the feature, and then in the LCQ, we're going to take the bottom 15 from each heat and then select the top 10 of those after 10 minutes, and that will make up our 40-driver feature. Not a completely stacked and full grid tonight, but just shy of the 60 max that we can handle, as Brian Heitkotter to the top of the board with a 110.658 in his number 05. And you'll note that here on the back straightaway, we are skipping the inner loop here. It's a section that was added in the 1990s to slow cars down before they get to the carousel at turn number 5. But of course, we're skipping this as these cars would not have raced with that section in 1987. James Houghton to second place in the number 41 at a 111.212. Andrew Pilata, Carwile, and Waldbaum wrap up the rest of the top 5. Brenner Del Mar is 6th in the Valvoline Ford as he throttles up out of turn number 5 and goes around for a loop. Matt Corrence, another GLTC competitor, good-looking livery on this Oldsmobile, sits in pit lane. Best time of a 111.589. That will put him 10th best. Alex Cofford up to second place in the number 19 Chevy. Really strong run for Alex, and he'll start up towards the front, at least in his heat. Alex Artaid is back this week. Not Fast Motorsport, a Turn-In Concepts throwback livery. Loving the look of this thing, and the Rainbow GRIDLIFE logo on the nose. Dives on the brakes here. Bias ply Goodyear tires and not a lot to lean on into the carousel. There's 2 minutes left here as Eric Dalla Riva goes to the top in the 74, a 110.569. He is now provisional pole sitter. Alessandrini goes third quick in the number 1. So Dalla Riva, Heitkotter, Alessandrini, Cofford, and Houghton are your top 5. Ryan Christoph joins us here tonight, and this livery, very familiar, reminiscent of the one that he's got on his Honda CRX in GRIDLIFE Touring Cup. See that livery inspired by this car right here. Austin Cobb, their GLTC competitor. He's got his new livery for his upcoming GLTC revisions on this car, and across the line he will go in the 136, and he will only go, I thought he went only 34th, but in fact it was 4th at a 111 flat to put Austin Cobb up in the top 5 here for the start of this one. A handful of drivers left to make qualifying efforts. Val DiPietro in his typical bright green car, 17th place for the 102. 10-minute heats in this one, 20-minute feature. So a combined 50 minutes of racing on tap for tonight. Thanks for joining us again on GRIDLIFE's Twitch channel. If you're not subscribed or following the Twitch channel, you should be. And if you're not in the GRIDLIFE Discord, you should be as well. You can click a link in the footer of the grid.life website. Join the Discord, and you can join the gaming world or the real wheel-to-wheel racing or time attack world. Be a part of the discussion all season long. Here's Mike Wagner, 24th in the number 28 car. Aveline Ford Thunderbird. So much body roll in these cars, having to work the suspension, work the brakes, work the tires. The tires get hot, the brakes get hot, the drivers get hot. Those that keep everything cool will make it to the end. I think tonight is definitely a survival race, as many predicted. Now with qualifying complete, I'll share that even the password for the session was eggshells because everyone's driving on eggshells for this one. Just balancing on the edge of control all the way around this track. James Houghton falls to 6th late in qualifying, but loves the stock cars in the iRacing service, and he's going to get a chance to race it starting from 6th in overall, but he will be 3rd in his heat. As qualifying is complete, we'll head down to the racetrack here for our first heat in just a moment. Remember the rules here, 15 drivers advance. There are 26 in the heat, so do the math, we're eliminating 11. And on this one, this is going to be our odd qualifiers. So starting with Eric Dalla Riva in the number 74. Alessandrini, Cofford, Pilata, O'Gorman are all in this mix. Brenner, Delmar, Bueller, Zugli, and many, many more. All the way down to 26th place Ryan Christoph. Those are your front row starters here. We get set for our 10-minute heat. Great rescan here of Watkins Glen International, a prime road racing facility in upstate New York. This is the track I grew up around. I was born and raised in Rochester, about an hour and a half to the north. And I've had my first racing experiences here at this racetrack, and it holds a special place for me. And 2023 will be a special year, I think, for me in particular with Watkins Glen. So, Eric Dalla Riva is your pole sitter. He's got drivers right as we head down to turn number 1 on the initial start, getting through the 90. This will be a big challenge. Thankfully, though, in recent years, they've repaved all this runoff area. This is fair game to use in an emergency scenario, but you can't pass in this area. You can't make a run around the outside and advance your position out there. That will collect you a penalty. The difference here is that at the exit of the carousel, on the exit of turn number 5, all that runoff is fair game. You can pass to whatever you want out there. That is unique to that one particular corner. No carousel bus stop rules to worry about. You can't cut many corners around here. And then, of course, we'll have that climb up the S's, the 110-foot climb from the bottom to the top. Full throttle in most cars, not in these, though, with 600 horsepower from the rear wheels here. Stick axle, basically truck suspension. That wasn't changed by NASCAR for years. Even up until the Generation 6 car, they still had a suspension setup pretty similar to those that found in this 1987 stock car period. Oldsmobiles, Chevrolets, and Fords. This race will be about 9 laps. We'll have 2 heats in our LCQ that will set our feature race. Cars rolling. Dalla Riva is in command here. Alessandrini will start alongside him in that mellow yellow car. Then Cofford 3rd, Pilata 4th. And Tom O'Gorman didn't get the qualifying effort I think he wanted. He will roll off in 5th place in that number 94. Here he is on board with him. The run down to turn 1 and up through the S's. A crucial and critical moment for everybody. Racing at the super speedway of road courses, Watkins Glen. GRIDLIFE at the Glen. Green flag, and we're racing. 10 minutes on the board, 15 drivers advance. Dalla Riva with a strong start clears the way down to turn number 1. Cofford holding up O'Gorman there on the inside lane. One driver making a big dive and a slip and a slide. The 31, the 10 get together, but so far so good through the first corner. Now to climb up the hill, 110 feet. Alessandrini all over the back of Dalla Riva. O'Gorman's gotten up his way up into third place already. Good, strong start for him. Bazugli in the 13 and Brenner Del Mar fighting for 7th as we head down the backstretch. Here's O'Gorman to 3rd, and behind him, Cofford, Pilata, and Bueller, 3 abreast for a moment. Now on the brakes into the carousel. The 22 of Pilata riding the curb as some drivers fight door-to-door behind him. That's Tom Wetmore in the 51. He's to the inside of the green car. That's Val DiPietro. Great clean start here in this heat. Really impressive stuff. This is a challenging car to race. These guys have done a good job. Some dives back here. Wetmore on DiPietro into turn number 6. He'll have that spot. Overlap. DiPietro bounces on the suspension. I don't think he's going to be able to hold it off, though. The 68 Country Time car moves in to 10th place. For the lead, here comes Alessandrini to the back of Dalla Riva into turn 1. O'Gorman licking his lips here. They head up the hill again. These two fight. This will bring O'Gorman into the mix. He was the fastest car in practice and now runs just half a second behind second place Alessandrini. Here comes DJ to the inside at turn number 5. Didn't get the overlap, though, that he needed. No ABS in these cars. Don't even think about that. It's a completely analog car from a variety of perspectives. But Dalla Riva, Alessandrini, O'Gorman, front runners right now. A little bit of battling deeper in the field. Kevin Zhu in the 31. Richard Sawicki. Roy Sharon as well. That's the 4 car just at the bottom of the frame. That McDonald's livery. And Ryan Christoph moving up a spot, muscling his way by Nathan Adler. Great work by everybody here. I don't think we've had anybody really have any significant contact yet in the first couple laps of this race. Super good to watch as Dalla Riva holds off Alessandrini, who runs wide at corner exit. O'Gorman follows. Again, a question about no bus stop. Yeah, this is the 1987 stock cars. We're running the track as it would have been in 1987, which means that we are skipping the inner loop as the drivers sail by at 170 miles an hour. That's what it would have looked like. That's how much the inner loop slows you down. That was installed in 1992 as Wetmore goes around the outside of Montello in the number 24, battling for position with Bazugli in the 13. Great fight here for position. And some trouble in the back of the shot. Richard Sawicki's in the wall hard at the carousel of all places. Let's have a look at what happened here. Was defending from the 4. There's Ryan Christoph in the mix as well. Oh, he spins across the nose and backs it into the wall on his own. While that was going on, Wetmore's looped around and O'Gorman gets by Alessandrini on the front straightaway into turn number 1, moved the 94 car to 2nd. Dalla Riva continues to lead the race, and last time by ran one of the fastest laps, I think the fastest lap that anybody has run so far, as Bazugli now faces fire from the 32 of Brenner Del Mar and Montello right behind in that DuPont car. Line of stern here for 7th place. Only one incident to speak of so far as Christoph continues his forward climb. He's up to 17th place after starting dead last. A strong start for the 46, and he is now almost in a transfer position as Montello's got big time damage at the carousel, and that car is destroyed. And he will have to fight it out in the LCQ. What happened to the 24? Same thing here, gets the grass on entry. It cannot get it slowed down, and then pile drives the tire wall there. And that will be it for the 24 in heat number 1. Transfer driver at the moment is Peter Zhang, and he's spun. Gravel trap for the 45. I think this is self-inflicted here. It's on the brakes, a little bit too hot into the corner, and you can see him fighting it as he makes a mistake, and so is the leader. Eric Dalla Riva is crashed at the exit of turn number 2, and O'Gorman goes by. Here's what happened. All on his own. It just snaps and then nothing. He could not save that car. It just snapped on him, and Alessandrini just snuck through there at the nick of time. That car is wrecked. And he's going to fall out of the transfer position as well after starting up front. Roy Sharon in the number 4 is going to be your transfer driver, 15th and forward. Alex Coffer's got problems now. He's off at the carousel, but he'll pull the car back on course. O'Gorman leads heat number 1. Alessandrini runs 2nd, then Pilata 3rd, Bueller 4th, Coffer 5th. And Troy Sharon is the last driver transferring in 15th place right now, but Nick Nelson closing quickly from behind. On board with Nelson. That's a transfer position right ahead of him, and he's quicker by about 0.2 of a second a lap. 4 minutes remaining, about 3 laps to go next time by. Big handful of counter steer for Nelson as he hits the front straightaway. Christoph to the inside of Corrence. They make contact in turn number 1, but Ryan's got the position. Corrence is going to cross him over. Adam Corrence is in by 1 position. That's all he's got over Troy Sharon. Those are the last 2 drivers that would qualify in to the feature automatically. Remember that only 15 will advance from this session. The other 11 will have to fight it out in the LCQ. Christoph's a little wide at the carousel, but hoping to arc it in late and get a strong run on exit. Cars don't like to accelerate while cornering. You really got to get him point and shoot and drive away like the 94 has done. Tomo takes 3 to go. Might actually, yeah, this should be 3 laps to go this time by into turn number 1. 1.4 seconds back to DJ Alessandrini. Pilata's off track big time at turn 1. Here comes Bueller in the 17 into the mix. Good battle for a podium spot here, but this is again not for the feature event, so everyone just needs to basically be 15th or higher, as Adam Corrence has now had problems in the number 10. He was in, he is now out. That moves Nelson into a transfer spot, and here's what happened to the number 10 at turn number 1. Gets around on him and passenger side into the tire wall at the 90. So Nelson's in, Chris Derby first man out in the number 30. We're on board with him now. See some smoke up ahead as drivers continue to fight for position. Here's top 10. Curtis James in the 87, Tom Wetmore in the 51. On the brakes into turn number 6. Wetmore has been fast at times, but inconsistent in this one. His best time is about a second faster than Curtis James ahead of him. And Chris Derby's gone around. He was chasing a transfer spot. He will not get there. Peter Zhang will now be chasing that transfer position. Here's what happened to the 30. Too hot into turn 6, gets the curb, and pow into the tire wall at the exit of 6. That will be the end of his bid for an automatic transfer into the feature event. So Nick Nelson's got a transfer spot. Peter Zhang with the Turn-In Concepts Not Fast crew right now is in an elimination spot. He'll have to fight it out in the LCQ as we go back to 3rd place. Pilata and Bueller at the exit of the carousel fighting for a spot. Now it's just daring who's going to brake later. Seems like that's a pretty sketchy situation in these cars to get them wobbling on the brakes, especially when you're near the grass. They're not stable in a straight line, in a corner, pretty much anywhere. Tom O'Gorman takes the white flag. One more time around Watkins Glen for Tomo to claim a heat victory. Alessandrini's too far back. Here's Pilata and Bueller fighting for 3rd and for 10th place. Wetmore gets by Curtis James for 10th. Conceivably, Nelson and Sharon could have a crash and bring Peter Zhang into the mix, but for now, Peter Zhang 7 seconds back and would need to finish top 10 in the LCQ to transfer. tailpipes of Pilata, watching Bueller trying to close in at the carousel. A little wobbly and bobbly for Pilata. Bueller closes in here. Can he do the crossover and maybe get the run? Oh, big snap there for the 17 on throttle. Pilata runs wide, but gets it back on course. Tom O'Gorman always liked how these things drove. Real funky, real classic, real old school. Not going to slow Tom down today. He's going to pick up a heat victory. He will start on pole in the feature race for this one. And Tom O'Gorman gets it done. Checkered flag here at Heat 1. Alessandrini, second place. Pilata and Bueller, third and fourth. Then all the way back in the transfer position, here is Nick Nelson in that number 9. Started this race a little bit deeper. Moved up to 15th place. Outlasted a couple issues and crashes. And as they continue to fight for 14th, Zhang's too far back. So Zhang and Adler, they're on back, will be eliminated and have to fight it out of the LCQ. Honorable mention, Ryan Kristoff from 26th to 12th, and a very impressive climb for Ryan Kristoff in the first heat. Here is a look at your race results very quickly. Again, the top 15 will move on. Everyone else will have to fight it out in the LCQ. Montello in the 24 car finished last in that one, so he'll have to fight it out as well from a very far back starting position. We move into heat number 2 and head back down to the racetrack. And there's some good heavy hitters in here as well. James Houghton in the number 49, Austin Cobb, Brian Heitkotter, Matt Waldbaum, Ryan Carwile, Matt Corrence. A lot of our GRIDLIFE iRacers regulars are here in this one, and they'll be fighting for 15th spot or better. Alex Arteyet, Asmath Muhammad, a couple of not fast competitors in track battle time attack. And Jackson Robillard. We haven't seen Jackson around in quite some time here in GRIDLIFE. Good to have him back in the Southwest number 98. And a couple of Patzas as well, Shane and Scott, starting in 15th and 22nd, respectively. Heitkotter's got pole, though, in his Ford Thunder Chicken out front, the 05, alongside Austin Cobb's Ultra Yeti car. Really looking forward to seeing this livery in real life, in person. It'll be an absolute blast. Great heat number 1, almost no dramas on the opening lap, and most of the issues were self-inflicted. We'll see how heat number 2 goes. 24 drivers will take the green here. Caleb Nichols did not line up to grid. We get set to go racing here. 9 laps, 10 minutes. Here we go. Heat number 2. We're underway at Watkins Glen. Oh, car in the wall already. And that is, I think, Scott Patza that didn't get a very good launch into turn number 1. Waldbaum's got some pressure from, or giving pressure to Houghton as they get through the first corner. So far, so good, though. Heitkotter climbs the hill all on his own. Single filing out Cobb, Houghton, Waldbaum, Carwile, Engel, Corrence, DeVries, Morhart, and Lyons. Your top 10, a little bit of side-by-side deeper in the field. Cobb's really wide at the exit of the S's. It's hard to keep these cars in line and going straight, trying to keep the power down. Big bumps there, exiting the carousel. Jackson Robillard on the binders. Ooh, almost touches the number 3 is Shane Vicari. Blows it up just in time. And we'll try to move forward here as they exit the carousel. Great run here. 3 abreast for a moment, and now single back out. 25 ahead, Ian. Big move on the brakes. He's not going to slow down. See you, Brian. Into the gravel trap he will go and slide to a halt with some help from the barriers. He'll have some damage and some time to make up here as Asmath Muhammad and Alex Arteyet. A couple teammates here battling for position. 3 wide, 28 cars in the middle. Ooh, the 243 of Austin Tucker's gone around at turn 1. And he's going to spin himself out to the inside, and we'll keep it to a single car incident for now. He backs up and tries to get rolling again. Leader is Brian Heitkotter. Out in front by 0.8 of a second over Austin Cobb, but James Houghton is not too far back, and neither is Matt Waldbaum, chasing each other into the carousel. Gentle on throttle here. Fair game to use all that runoff there on corner exit. You see Engel in the backdrop in the 44 using all of it to bring his attack on Ryan Cartwile in the 71 into the brakes for turn 6. And Matt Corrins watching from a distance. Sun of the eyes isn't helping either. Engel on Cartwile to the inside at turn 1. Got big time overlap. He's going to clear him. Will he hang on to it though? Seen a lot of drivers run too wide on exit, and he's going to do the same. 44 is off course. Cartwile back to the inside. They're going to touch and crash big time. Cartwile smashes the Armco, and that was a big, big mistake there by the 44. I think he came too far across the road. And he's going to tag the 71. Went off track on his own accord. Cartwile gave him space, but the 44 just turned back to the right, so that wasn't best decision making there by Engel, and they're tangled up here as they get back underway. Waldbaum now facing Houghton. Waldbaum versus Houghton versus Highcutter and Cobb. This feels like a GLTC race. Hey, DJ's in here. It's a busy day, DJ. Thanks for joining me, man. This has been great so far. I'm having a good time watching this.
That the racing will happen. You don't have to force it just because the cars suck so bad. And I think everybody, they're really embracing the suckage of the car.
I'd say the first laps were actually really clean in these, which I wasn't expecting. So that was really cool to watch.
I think it's because everyone's scared to death of the car, as they should be. These things are terrifying.
Fun to watch, though, and I think for me, the brakes being terrible is one of the best things because it extends the braking zones and makes mistakes a lot easier to capitalize on.
Why don't you throw up your view on the broadcast?
Oh,
here
yes,
so
of course.
I can commentate with you.
Yeah, I wasn't even prepared to do that, so let's do it. Here you go.
Alrighty.
So nice having a friend in here tonight, DJ. But so we just did the Q&A right before. I jumped in my car and sped down the street, jumped in my seat, and now we're rolling. So that's how tonight's gone. And this was all my idea, too, which was even worse. So I can't even blame anybody else for that.
Yeah, blame me. You can only blame yourself, and you booked it on a Tuesday.
Yeah, that was dumb.
Yeah,
so.
But oh man, we got a spicy battle here. I'm not familiar with who's who here.
So
that's Jay.
Yeah, this is Jay DeVries in the 37. He's got Matt Corrins right ahead of him in the 42, and this is a good battle for 5th place going on right now.
We also have a spicy battle, a 3-way battle for 2nd.
Yes, we do, as the 42 got lit up there by Jay DeVries, and that 2nd place battle, Austin Cobb. Here's James Houghton in the middle of it, and Matt Waldbaum keeping the pressure up from behind.
Austin Cobb's looking a little bit like a cork in a bottle here. Waldbaum, can he do anything with this? Now, Houghton has a lot of experience in these roundy-round cars, so you could definitely see that coming into play. Houghton sitting up a really solid 3rd right now here in this Heat 2 race.
Yeah, definitely not afraid of the oval cars. I've seen him run in leagues time and time again with all sorts of stock cars, so he's definitely at home tonight. But he's keeping the pressure on Austin Cobb, though. And it all comes down to this carousel braking zone. There's a nasty bump where the short course, or the inner loop rather, rejoins, DJ. How much of a challenge is that on the brakes?
Yeah, you basically you go from about 60-70% brake pressure. You have to drop it into like the 20-ish range for like a split second, and then you have to smoothly get back into the terminal braking. It's real tricky, and the hardest thing about these cars is that the tires fall off so drastically that every lap feels different.
I do think I have to mention, I have to giggle a little bit, that Brian Highcutter might have the worst braking performance car in iRacing right now, and it's still braking better than his Z.
Oh, no.
Oh, here comes Houghton into turn 1, having a look at Austin Cobb, but he can't get the overlap. You see Waldbaum wiggling on the brakes. They touch.
Oh! You might have murdered him.
And he spun himself out as well. So both of them will tumble down the order. He feels guilt for it for sure, but they got to get rolling because the cut line is coming.
Yeah, I think his shame spun him. I don't know if Matt actually spun there. Wow, the turning radius on these things are pretty good, aren't they?
It is good, but he's got more cars crashing. Tim Wire behind in the 38. He was in a transfer spot. Waldbaum gets back rolling into 14th, now 14th place. So he still is in a transfer spot after all of that.
Yeah, that's man. Let's go back and let's see what happened here.
Yeah, I think he just gets in really deep. I think the 41 might have checked up here because of the 136 at the apex. just a little bit, and Waldbaum just carried a little bit too much mid-corner speed there.
He definitely tapped him. The thing with these cars is you kind of have to set your path. So, we got a crash right in front of Waldbaum. Who's that?
That was Robillard. That he bailed out of the session there to try to not be a problem. But here's a look at that.
The classic all F4 as fast as possible.
Ooh, just big-time drift right across the nose of somebody, and oh, man.
That was a excellent evasive maneuver from Ian Giebler. I can't believe he missed that driver. The awareness on Ian is out of control right now.
Southwest Cars night has gone south. Battle for fourth, Matt Corns
it's spicy.
and Jay DeVries. Mac is wheeling this car right now. Shane Vicari's got problems at turn 1. He's looped the car. We'll go back up to this battle for fourth, though.
Yeah, these tires are starting to fall off, and up the S's. You've never driven it this right-hander right here, which is normally a non-issue. Look, see how he's neutral steering through it? You're sliding the car through that entire corner. Every other car in iRacing, that's basically a straightaway. It's not even a corner.
That's something that would have helped Houghton as he's back rolling and back up to 6th place after that spin. He's got extensive stock car experience here. For the longest time, the most popular NASCAR car, the modern generation NASCAR Cup cars, cannot go full throttle up the S's, so he'll have tons of practice with throttle control there. It is a scary place, DJ, to have throttle control because the top of the S's is the narrowest part on the racetrack. The track goes from 60 feet wide on the front straight to 32 at the top of the hill.
Yeah, I'm real proud of both of these heats for not causing a giant pile up there. I'm sure you went over it in the pre-game show, how that could be a major issue.
Yeah, that top of the S is definitely a bottleneck point, as is turn number 2, as we see Jay DeVries having a look at Corrins. Corrins is loose, though. Here he comes.
Oh, Jay DeVries. Oh, Jay DeVries really loose. Does he gather it up? He just locks it up. Good thing there's nobody really close to him.
Oh, James Houghton, where do you go? Look out. Here comes.
Oh, my goodness.
Nicholas Johnston as well through the smoke. Alex Artea approaching quickly from behind as Giebler and Waldbaum fight for 11th place.
Yeah, Waldbaum just managed to dispose of Giebler there. Kind of gave him a little bit of a bump, honestly. Matt's kind of being a dirty boy tonight.
Be a little frisky out there with the number 12.
Yeah, these cars, you're seeing how the tires are falling off and how difficult they get. I believe this is, no, we have one more to go after this.
Yes, so we're going to be coming to the white flag this time through. Heikotter's got a good run and more trouble. Johnston in the number 28 has big time damage at the exit of the carousel.
Oh no, that wheel's not going the right direction.
And he might get eliminated. Asmat Muhammad is coming. And this was a multi-car accident. I think he was involved with Houghton, or was Houghton already looped? No. Yes, he was. So just got collected there. Houghton was already crashing.
Yeah, Houghton feels shame.
Well,
he came over the mic and said sorry to Johnson there.
And Houghton was crashed at turn number 6 again as well, so he will have to fight it out in the LCQ. Not what I was expecting. You know who doesn't have to fight it out in the LCQ is the guys in the top 15. Heikotter leads them into the carousel for the final time.
Does Matt just bumped somebody else again? They're going up the S's right now. With Shane Vicari. He's being a little bit of a bully. I think Matt doesn't know where the front of his car is. Do you think he would have figured it out by
Well, it's 30 feet long, so that doesn't help.
Yeah. True.
Down the back straightaway, Waldbaum's got some overlap here to driver's left, though. Interesting line into the braking zone for Vicari. Trying to stay defensive there, but he can't do anything about Matt Waldbaum. It goes to 8th. As for Brian Heikotter, he will pick up a win in heat number 2. Austin Kopp 2nd. Matthew Morehart will come out in 3rd. Then Matt Corrins, Shane Patza, the rest of the top 5. In terms of transfer positions, still being decided right now. Johnston's got a transfer spot right now. Austin Tucker's right here, though. He's coming for that spot.
Oh, there's no way he holds on to this spot. The car's crabbing. He's got decent straightaway speed, though. This left-hander is going to be a challenge, though, because that left front wheel, yeah, there he goes. He had to brake early.
Oh, he's going to turn in. They touch. They bang doors. Tucker's through. He's got the transfer spot. Johnston, though, is not going to be able to do it. And Tucker is going to transfer onto the feature automatically.
And it looks like he sent it way too late, but yeah, I'm not sure if Johnson broke early or if Tucker broke late. It might have been a mix of the two.
I think we should do a full season of these cars, DJ.
No, come on, please don't do that to me.
Oh, we didn't get a chance to look at the results because this next session is already rolling. So let's move on now to the LCQ, DJ. Only 10 advanced from this one, the top half of the ticker. And James Houghton is seated 10th. So all he's got to do is finish there if he wants to start dead last. Best he can start is 31st, though, if he wins this.
Yeah, I have the race results from Heat 2 right in front of me. It's Brian Highcutter, he was your winner. Austin Cobb, second place. Matthew Morehart, we didn't really see him much on stream. He ended up in third. Mackenzie Corrins, fourth place. And Shane Potza, fifth place for Shane.
Well, we're going to see how this goes. Ryan Engel in the 44, he had a big mistake there in the first heat, so hopefully he can recover from that. Other drivers we should keep our eyes on, Jackson Robillard. Eric Dallariva was leading most of the first heat, DJ. He had a self-inflicted spin at the exit of turn 1. That put him 17th in this one.
Yeah, he was driving away from me. Eric looks very quick. You know what? It's only 10 minutes long, but I could see Eric winning this race, honestly. He was really quick.
Gonna have a long way to go. He needs to make up 16 spots, which is almost as many as Ryan Kristoff made up in the first heat, so it is possible. Cars are rolling now. The pole sitter is Nathan Adler in the 53. Ryan Carwile starts on the outside of the front row, and Peter Zhang rolls off third. Peter had a spin in race 1, but he's had a really good season, DJ, and had some really solid results in a bunch of different cars, so we'll see if he can get himself into the show tonight.
Yeah, it's going to be this is going to be a real scrappy race. I muted my mic in the Discord, and I reminded everyone to be nice to each other, so we'll see if that happens.
Here we go. Green flag in the LCQ. 10 drivers advance, 10 minutes on the board. Adler with a nice strong run down towards turn number 1. And here comes Carwile. And it's going to be a mess as we get to the first corner. Everybody fans out. There's Nicholas Johnson in that American Airlines car to the outside. And it's going to be a drag race to the S's. And again, single yourself out and get up this hill clean.
Yeah, it's a really, really good start from Carwile. He also has a decent amount of experience in stock cars, so I might take back
the 53
my, prediction.
Sideways and crashed.
At least he's not clogging the track, because that would have been a disaster. It looks like it was a single car incident.
Yes, only him. Just lost it.
Also, shout out to Andrew Pilata. He dropped out of one of the heats earlier. He lost power.
Oh.
He's looking fast tonight.
And the 30 car on the brakes, Christopher Derby.
Ooh. At least he didn't take anybody with him.
That is why they put the bus stop in, by the way. That was a 1992 edition to Watkins Glen International.
We just saw a 1987 style crash.
Yeah, they were real ugly over there for a long time.
And when cars that came out when I was born, they kind of sucked.
Well,
they were very good.
They could go fast. They just couldn't stop or turn.
Yeah, that sums up. Oh, we got a interesting angle into the apex there.
Ryan Engel took a bad angle into turn number 1.
Wagner just turning down like he should. There's no way leaving the mirror like that is ever going to turn into a pass.
James
so
Houghton,
the driver just gets out of your way.
Up 6 spots in the opening lap of this race, so up to 4th place. And he's got a run here on that 44.
Yeah, really strong start from James. And he might feel a little bit more confident on the brakes. He is poking the nose, brakes a little early, maybe just trying to pressure Engel into a mistake, which is easy to do. The leader's still in sight for James, so he's not feeling a ton of pressure to get something done right away.
He's on the chip down the back straightaway, hitting the rev limiter too. I wonder do you have any gear adjustments here, DJ? I feel like you probably shouldn't be running out of gear at 165 or 170.
Houghton was running out of gear?
Yeah.
Yeah, you should adjust that. You can change the final drive. That's all you can change.
Yeah, so that might be slowing him up, but maybe it's a good reason to have to jump on the brakes a little earlier, as some trouble behind. The 5 of Ryan Verhulst has found his way turned around and wide on the exit of 6.
Yeah, it looks single car. These things, I'm telling you, they're tricky.
Also, can I just point out
that Mitch that ran over his bumper?
I think so. By the way, Watkins Glen very nicely places those tire bundles right in the impact zone for that corner.
That's they know.
They do know.
It's like they got sick of replacing guardrails.
Yeah, that's true around the facility as Jackson Robillard goes to the outside of Peter Zhang and Nicholas Johnson. He'll grab a couple spots there. Houghton got by Engel, got up into 2nd place. As we head into the carousel, watch those cars drop onto that bump, and a big bobble by the 45 chases it up off the banking.
It's so hard to keep the car underneath you in that position, because as you go wider in the corner, it falls off camber, and it's so easy to lock up the inside front and just carry it into the wall.
Adam Corrence in the 10 and Eric Dalla-Riva. These are transfer drivers. They're in the top 10 and would be in the show tonight if they can just finish where they are. There's a couple drivers, Asher Chowdhury behind him, Christopher Derby, and more. But I think
Chowdhury's licking his lips at this battle in front of him because these two get mixed up even a little bit, and he's in the last transfer spot.
Yeah, it's about 1.3 seconds. He's got half the race left to do it, 6 minutes. And they're not that far up the road, and you see Corrence taking a swipe at Dalla-Riva. If those two overdrive just a little bit, it's game over.
Yep. Chowdhury he just has to keep it together. Don't push too hard. You're not going to catch him right away. That's one thing with these cars. They really don't catch the other car in front very well. I think when you have 800 horsepower, even though you're shaped like a shoebox, the draft really still doesn't do anything.
Someone said these things drive like a dairy cow, and I thought that was pretty accurate. And trouble for James Houghton again.
Oh, no.
This is at the
James
carousel.
Is having a rough night.
Back rolling, but let's see how this began.
On the bump. Oh, it looks like James just ripped the e-brake.
Yeah, it landed. I think he just had too much brake when he landed. No, but he didn't damage the car, but he's out for the night. He did quit, so unfortunate.
Well, we'll see. Hopefully we'll see James next week.
Hopefully so. Jonathan Adams and Eric Dalla-Riva. This is for 7th.
Okay, here we go, side by side. Now does, is it Dalla-Riva's, no, that's Adams.
Yes, Jonathan Adams in the 39.
Oh yeah, gotcha. Sorry, I'm rusty at this, Kyle. Thanks for bearing with me.
Thanks for saving me.
So yeah, Adams predictably folded there. I kind of folded when Tom was passing me because I'm like, well, I can fight this, but like, what am I gonna win here?
Just got to transfer. All you got to do is transfer it. For the 10 drivers that are in the top 10. How about Anthony Montello, by the way? Self-inflicted spin in the carousel in heat number 1, but here he is now back into 10th on a transfer. He would start dead last, but he's in the show.
Yep, in the show, in the final race. It's going to be a grueling 20 minutes for you and me. You're going to be by yourself for 20 minutes.
That's okay. I've been there before.
Ooh, big moment.
Yeah, this is the hardest corner here. And I think, you know, back in the 90s when they first put in that inner loop, I think the pavement was a little flatter in that transition, but over time, as the inner loop became the standard layout, Watkins Glen is not paving that center section to be smooth. There's no point because it's not a competition surface. So when iRacing scanned it, they didn't artificially smooth it. It's just as bumpy as it is in the real world. So we're running an old layout on a new pavement configuration that is making this extra challenging as the Johnston car goes around again, but he gets turned around and starts rolling again.
He's still in the transfer spot. Maybe.
Yeah.
There's a swarm of hungry cars behind him trying to grab it from him.
He's got pace and no damage, so he should be okay. On board now with Jonathan Adams in 7th, and that's Johnston ahead in 6th.
You seen them foot well? Come on, give me your little graphic here, Kyle. Why is there a fan? What is that doing?
I don't know.
Maybe.
Maybe I was moving air around potentially, but
that fan can't be effective. Can you imagine like the race car driver solution to my feet are getting sweaty? You put like a box fan in your car.
It's not even spinning that fast. It's just like blowing lukewarm air around everywhere.
Yeah, it's like well, maybe it looks like it's spinning slow because of the
frame
frames
rate
per second
okay.
of the camera. Yeah, iRacing's so realistic.
This is an 8th place battle. Adam Corrence, the 10, and Peter Zhang in the 45.
Peter Zhang, he's looking up the inside. Adam Corrence leaves enough room, but gets a better run along the outside. So Zhang, he knows he doesn't really have anything here. Ooh, look, different gear ratios at play.
Oh, the 39 spun.
In
Adams turned around, and he's in the wall.
Adams, yeah, he hit the wall. That might be the end of his race. So you know what? It doesn't look too crunched up.
Well, he's 10th now. That's it. He's got 1.9 seconds back to Chris Derby, and he gets back rolling. But again, just a lazy rear brake spin. Too much rear brake bias in it, DJ, and you're going to wheel hop this. These are stick axle cars, and if one wheel starts hopping, the other will join it, and that's a common theme in stock cars from the 1980s all the way to the 2000s. Someone told me the other day, I didn't know this, but the rear suspension geometry on these cars is basically out of a GMC truck from the 60s and fundamentally didn't change for 40 years.
Hey, after driving this thing for a couple hours this week, that fully sounds believable to me.
Again, a very simple suspension geometry. They're all tube frame cars. Battle for fourth. Make that third. Robillard, Dalla Riva, and Wagner in the 28. Scrapping for spots. 2 laps to go this time by.
Oof. They're just racing to race at this point. Robillard's doing a good job. I was planning on throwing him back in the booth with you, but if he's in the feature, there's no way I'm going to talk him into that.
Well, looks like he's going to be in that spot right now. Oh, he's wide.
Oh, no. Oh my God, I thought I was going to commentator curse him.
It's the commentator baptism, DJ. It happens to all of us. Wait till it happens to you in real life.
No, don't do that. Don't do that to me. Did you say something at Road America?
Yes.
DJ's doing really good, Crash.
Well, not about you, but you were just an unfortunate victim. 45 seconds remain, which means that we're going to get white flag next time by, and Ryan Carwile has set sail out front. Engel second, Dalla Riva, Robillard, Wagner, Johnston, Corrins, Zhang, Montello, and Derby are your top 10. And there's Jonathan Adams, and this is your top 10 transfer spot. The purple car's got it, the red car needs it.
Okay, dude, look, Derby's car looks hit compared to Adams, but apparently Derby's car is the better of the cars as we see Adams flying way off the track, barely keeping it out of the wall.
Not behaving. This looks like something out of Wreckfest.
I was just thinking that. I was thinking this thing looks like a demolition derby car, not a NASCAR.
98 and 28 side by side for fourth.
Got it.
This is white flag now.
This is white flag, sorry.
Come and do the checkers next time by. Robillard's off course again. Fair game out there. You can't advance your position. You can get a slowdown for exceeding that excessively, but he will drop the spot to Wagner, and we'll just get one more straightaway to draft back by him.
Ooh, grab that inside curve. That's risky, but look at this run he has coming out of here. Now, can he go anywhere with it? Around the outside never works. So he's going to have to sit, maybe do something on the brakes into this corner. The thing is the braking zones are so long, it's hard to outbrake somebody.
He's going to try it, though.
He's trying.
Oh, the 28!
He gathers it up.
Hang on, throttle. Here he comes to the inside. They're going to touch.
They're touching, but they keep it clean for the most part. Robillard is just an inch off his back bumper. Barely both of those drivers keeping it together.
Final 2 corners. Wagner and Robillard banging doors the NASCAR away here at Watkins Glen. Checkered flag for Carwile. He'll pick up the victory here in the LCQ and transfer Engel, Dalla Riva, and then Wagner, Robillard. Their fierce fight to the end. Johnston, Corrins, Montello, Peter Zhang, and Chris Derby, if he can finish 2 more corners, will transfer and be the last driver in the feature race.
Yeah, I thought you were about to have a co-commentator, Kyle.
Well, thankfully for his sake, I will not. Derby comes across the line, and he is the last driver in. Adams, Monagaran, Dowdery, Sawicki, Hedian, Houghton, Adler, Patsa, and Verhulst eliminated here, will not get to compete in the feature event. All right, DJ, get back down there and go racing. Good luck. We'll see you later.
All right, I'm going to go jump in the car. Later, Kyle.
See ya.
Have fun.
All right, so checkered flag on our LCQ, and it's now time to get set for our feature event. 20 minutes on the board and our top 40 from the evening. Thanks for joining us here on GridLife Twitch or on the SimTV YouTube. Appreciate everyone joining in tonight. If you missed out on the Twitch Q&A, I'll make sure to publish that a little bit later this evening so everyone can go back and watch Adam and Chris talk about 2023 plans and some rules clarifications regarding track battle, time attack, and GridLife Touring Cup. And it's been a busy, busy day for us in the office getting prepped for next year. Asking about 2023 GridLife schedule that will be released at Performance Racing Industry, PRI, in Indianapolis next week. So make sure that you are in tune with announcements that are coming in. Join the GridLife Discord. Again, that link is on grid.life. You can find it in the footer where Facebook and other links are included. I'm Kyle Heyer. Thanks for joining us, Voice of GridLife Live. Getting set for our final race of the evening, our 20-minute feature. O'Gorman will be your pole sitter after winning number 1. Rack up and stack up the rest of the drivers here in just a moment. Hills and spills of upstate New York, Watkins Glen, just under 2.5 miles of racetrack here It is a gorgeous racing facility, the powder blue walls highlighting the limits of this place, and we're going to explore every inch of Watkins Glen. Here's a look at your starting lineup on the left-hand side of the screen. Row number 1, Tom O'Gorman in the number 94. He'll start alongside Brian Heitkotter in the 05. Row 2 is DJ Alessandrini in the number 1 and Austin Cobb in the 136. Row 3 is Andrew Pilata in the number 22 and Matthew Morhart in the number 33. Row 4 is Alex Bueller in the number 17 and Matt Corrins in the number 42. Alex Cofford starts in 9th with Shane Patza starting 10th in the number 909. Jordan Bazugli starts in 11th in the number 13 alongside Jay DeVries in the number 37. Val DiPietro is on the inside of row number 7, lined up with the 77 of Alex Arteat. Row 8, Mitch Marhefka in the 27, and Matt Waldbaum in the number 12 in 16th. Brenner Delmar, Shane Vicari in row number 9, Tom Wetmore, Ian Giebler in row number 10. Curtis James, Brian Lyons in row number 11, then Ryan Christoph and Eric McFarland in 23rd and 24th. Kevin Zhu, Azmath Muhammad in 25th and 26th. Troy Sharon, Tim Wire in row number 14. Row 15, Nick Nelson, Austin Tucker with Ryan Carwile and Ingle 31st and 32nd. Eric Dalariva 33rd, Mike Wagner 34th, Jackson Robillard, Nicholas Johnston, Adam Corrins, Montello, Peter Zhang, and Christopher Derby round out your 40-car field. Time to go racing at Watkins Glen for the last time tonight. The feature race for GRIDLIFE iRacers, 20 minutes on the board. Here we go. Upstate New York, GRIDLIFE iRacers at the Glen. We are green and racing. Clean start, 5 wide the backdrop. There is no way they make this work. 4 abreast at the apex. And somehow we get through turn 1 nice and clean. Excellent, excellent work by everybody involved there as we climb the hill for the first time. O'Gorman leads the charge down the straightaway. Can we get through the S's without any dramas? I think so. Field of 40 streaming by the cameras. No fenders flying just yet. That's fantastic. O'Gorman leads into the carousel behind the 19. Ooh, that's a big dive there for Alex Cofford. The 33 of Morhart under fire from Bazugli and 13 cars we exit the carousel. Spinner in the background. Hard impact. Alex Arteat right back into traffic. Everybody scatters, but it's just a single car incident for Alex. Wide and crash on the opening lap. O'Gorman, Alessandrini, Heitkotter your top 3 as Matt Waldbaum spins. He'll get back rolling but lose a whole bunch of spots in the process. Into turn 1. Tomo leads Alessandrini, but look at Corrins in 7th now as we've got some dramas here on the front straightaway, and that is a big wad of cars smashed up and crashed up. What happened here? 3 cars, the first car I saw turned around, Shane Vicari. Here's where it happened. Jackson Robillard's gonna trip this off. Spins the 3, the 98 into the outside wall, and he gets absolutely clobbered and creates this stack up. That was a big mess. First lap, though, we got through relatively okay, at least until the start-finish line and the start of lap number 2. Back up front, though, this battle is queuing up for the top spot. Alessandrini reeling in Tomo in that 94. For number 7. This racetrack is one of Tom's favorites. You'd have to line up Canadian Tire Motorsport Park, Mosport, as his other favorite, but Watkins Glen constantly comes up in his favorite track conversation. And one of his favorite cars as well tonight, Alessandrini. Not a fan of the car or the track, but making do in 2nd place for the time being. There's a little scrap for position behind Matt Corrins. It's Corrins in 7th, Bazugli in 8th, and Matthew Morhart in that 33 car in 9th. That's the Tide Ride. ...175 miles an hour for an early entrance to the brakes. Shane Patza wiggling and wobbling the car on the binders to slow that thing down. Ryan Christoph continuing his charge forward after starting last in his heat. Riva also bringing some forward progress with him. Morhart spins and crashed with Mazzugli on the short run between 6 and 7 as others dodge the wreck. That car is absolutely hammered. They just get together, and that is just absolute destruction for the 13 car, unfortunately. And Matt Corrins has had problems as well. They're dropping like flies now. He just ran wide on his own, I believe, and then ended up breaking some suspension in the process. Go back to Austin Cobb and Alex Buehler. This is for 4th up the hill at turn 2. There's your leaders by the shot, then Heitkotter 3rd. This battle for 4th, that's heating up. The lead battle getting ever so closer. 0.2 of a second. The 94 to the 1. Two drivers that are intensely competitive in their own right, have a massive respect for each other on and off the racetrack. If you haven't heard their podcast, the Lizard Brains podcast, that's on Spotify and other places where you can find podcasts. Tomo and DJ talk about things weekly, about motorsports in general and racing related topics. And right now they're going to be battling out for the top spot. Hopefully this makes a Lizard Brains discussion. 15 minutes to go. Leaders are established. O'Gorman, Alessandrini, Heitkotter, Buehler, and Cobb. Look for some battles deeper. Here's Ryan Lyons and Adam Corrins for 17th spot. And trouble for Jay DeVries in the 37. Great looking livery on this car, by the way. Have to highlight this. Unfortunate that it's at such an awkward time, but turns in and the thing just spins kind of lazily mid-corner. It doesn't hit anything, thankfully, but will come out about 18th place as a couple of drivers have gotten by him and a few near him. Here's Anthony Montello, had a crash in his heat and has some damage from the early crash here in the feature, but is trudging forward up in a 19th place. Ooh, big bobble again by the 37. Can he get the car slowed down? And Riva and Kristoff. Ryan Kristoff has had a fantastic night. It has to be said. Started last in his heat, drove through most of that, and now is doing the same here in the feature event. Battling that 74, the 71, and then up the road, Roy Sharon in the number 4 in 11th place. "13 minutes to go. This 4-car race for 11th place is getting very, very spicy. Car wide at turn 1, Ian Giebler off track. Back up Corrins and a few others, Jay DeVries, Anthony Montello. Now down the back straightaway, the 10 car slips, and look at Jay DeVries just expertly swing around the outside. Corrins is going to lose 2 spots to that. Montello picks up another, up into 18th position. Back up to the other 4-car battle, 11th place, Troy Sharon. Maybe the cork in the bottle here. Someone's shaking it up and causing that pressure to build. That someone is Ryan Carwile, the 71 Chevrolet. On board with the 4. Ooh, so close to the safer barrier at the exit of that final corner at turn number 7. And here comes Eric Riva to the inside at turn 1, but can't get the overlap there. Ian Giebler has had problems in the 404. We saw him wide at turn 1. This time it was turn 6 that snapped and bit him, and the 37 did a fantastic job avoiding that. Jay DeVries had quite the view out the nose of this car. Great avoidance there. Jumping on the brakes, he'll live to see another day and advance position into 16th. Out front, O'Gorman's lead is slowly expanding. It's up to 0.8 of a second now. Alessandrini, Heitkotter, Buehler, and Cobb. This fight is getting even closer. Cobb is now only a 1.5 back from Buehler. counter steer on exit. Inside of this car is shockingly pink. The Cobb's been using the long game here on Buehler, trying to keep the rear tires up underneath him for the tail end of this race. And on the front stretch, a little bit of side-by-side. Brenner Del Mar and Troy Sharon, and then Dalla Riva and Carwile 2x2 into turn number 1. The 4 hangs on to the 32, the 74 though by Carwile at 1. Carwile's going to try to cross him over and get the run off, but he can't do it. Now the 32 is slow in the outside lane. He'll dive to the inside. Couldn't get back on throttle though, and side by side up the hill. Certainly not fast for anybody. As we ride with Ryan Kristoff in 14th, he's got positions ahead he can grab. He'll take one of those as Dalla Riva tries to get by Troy Sharon for 10th at the carousel. He will do such the thing, and Ryan Kristoff just hangs on to the banking, all 5 degrees of it at turn number 5. Pulls the car back on track. Del Mar putting pressure back on Kristoff. He bobbled, but didn't completely waver. There's a bigger slip from the 46. This will give the 32 a much better chance at getting by. They didn't capitalize on the run. If he can get through the gears better, he'll have a shot at turn 1, but Kristoff's in way deeper. Del Mar bails out of it. Kristoff carries a little bit better speed there. Rumble strip is slippery at the exit of 1. And Buehler and Cobb, closest battle once again on the racetrack. 17 and 136 for 4th place. Leaning on the banking. Classic Ford versus Chevy battle here in the stock cars. I think at this point it's all about outlasting and saving the tire you've got left. If you think tires couldn't fall off here in 10 laps, you'd be wrong. They can certainly fall off. We're going 17 in this race, 17 laps over 20 minutes. And you can easily burn up these tires by being too aggressive with them. And Cobb has been very, very conservative with his Goodyears tonight. Hopes of perhaps saving them. Have one last run here at 4th. Heitkater's kind of in no man's land. He was, but now he's reeled in Alessandrini. O'Gorman has skipped town. He's up 2 seconds ahead, but Heitkater is slowly dragging Alessandrini back into the mix here for 2nd. Good gain on the brakes there for Heitkater as well. Battle for P2 is on. In the real world, Alessandrini runs in both Sunday Cup and in GRIDLIFE Touring Cup. His Touring Cup car is a Honda Civic SI. Heitkater's car is a Nissan 370Z. These drivers have competed directly against each other before. Although I don't think that either has won a race when the other had a weekend with them. Heitkater has only won races, 2 of them, at Pikes Peak International Raceway. And Alessandrini's only ever won 2 races, both at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. DJ's never run at PPIR. Heitkater has never run at Mid-Ohio. Evening sun glowing over the 90 grandstands at Watkins Glen, and 7 minutes left in our feature event for the night in our Tuesday Fun Run Series. Alessandrini, he's wide at the top of the hill. He's in the dirt, he's in the grass, skates across the road, and now throws some defense at Heitkater, who will head to the outside for turn number 5. These cars are a chess match, and you have to win the game just to keep it straight every straightaway. Thunder Chicken looms in the mirrors of the mellow yellow car. Next time by should be about 6 laps to go. DJ seems like he's struggling on the brakes just a little bit. Heitkater's just a skosh better. And then you see the speed he carries on exit 2. DJ has to chase the car off the road, and Brian's going to be right up hot on his heels for the 110-foot climb up the hill as a battle for 8th is on. It's 3 wide. Jane Patsa, Marhefka, and Dalla Riva trading spots here for position, and almost a touch there between the 27 and 74. And Carwile and Sharon, this is for 11th. A little bit of banging doors there, but the 71 I think is through. And Christoph edging closer to a top 10 if he can just get by these two ahead of him and maybe one more. And trouble for Marhefka in the 27. He was battling with the 74, and I think they've had it coming together. Perhaps, no, he was all on his own. And just, the car steps out on him. Here's a look. Braking zone at 5 and just in too hot in the classic brake and swing to the left. And Marhefka's night certainly dampened. He's got pressure now from behind. Brian Lyons sails on through in the 23. Jay DeVries and Anthony Montello picking up the scraps of that fight. Jump back up to the fight for second. Alex Bueller falling off cliff here. Down to 4th place. Austin Cobb has fallen even further as Montello and Marhefka trade spots, give 16th place to the 24. Great run for the 24 despite the damage and his poor starting position because of his LCQ participation tonight, but he's up into 16th and continues his climb. And Corrence, Adam Corrence, spins at turn number 1. For Matt Corrence, we haven't really talked a lot about Mac tonight. Mac is 10 laps down, crashed out, unfortunately, because of an earlier incident. Now Montello having lots of pressure on the 37 of Jay DeVries. And you don't even need to get alongside someone to make them make a mistake. You just have to get in their mirror and pretend like you're going to outbrake them. Hopefully they'll break a little bit later in defense and just make a mistake on the binders. That's the easiest way to get the job done tonight, is make someone else make a mistake for you. Western New York sun beating down here at Watkins Glen, and the pressure is building for Alessandrini and for Heitkater to hang on to second. They're both battling for a podium spot, but Tomo is long gone, 3.8 seconds clear as DJ and Brian fight for what's left. Next time by will be 3 laps to go for Tomo. Flicking him off, Ryan Carwile and Troy Sharon back at it again for 10th. And even deeper, how about Curtis James in the 87? He's having a big moment there at the top of the hill. And Austin Tucker reeling him in. This is for 19th place. Here comes Tucker. And trouble for Val DiPietro. He was having a top 10 run. Pretty quiet run tonight, but top 10 nonetheless, and all on his own at turn 6. Just kind of tank slaps off into the gravel. Ryan Engel and Marhefka trading for 17th place. Engel, the 44. Making progress now. Got a couple more weeks of the GRIDLIFE iRacers Tuesday Fun Run. Join us next week, same time, same place. Join the Discord to learn how to join. And we're in iRacing's hosted sessions. Might just have to beat this guy, Tom O'Gorman, in the number 94, 2022 GRIDLIFE Touring Cup champion, 4-time winner in the IMSA Michelin Pilot Challenge Series, 2-time champion in Pirelli World Challenge competition. Got 2 laps left to go at Watkins Glen to claim another feature victory. Remember, he won the GT1 event at Road America to kick off our Tuesday Fun Run Series season. Back to Curtis James and Tucker for 19th place, and now you can throw Nicholas Johnston in the mix as well, and then a silver American Airlines car. And more, there's Dane Patza hitting pit lane, potentially a penalty for the 909 to have to serve. Ryan Lyons and Anthony Montello for 14th place. Big bobble by the 24. Can he get it slowed down? He does, runs a little wide though, and it should give the advantage to Lyons. He climbs the hill here. He'll get the overlap and the position for now. He will. And now Montello's going to carry this good speed onto the back straightaway though. To the inside, he's going to take a look, and Lyons doesn't defend. Indeed, can Anthony slow it down? He does, and he has. Tom O'Gorman has taken the white flag. One more time around Watkins Glen, 2.5 miles for him to claim a victory. He is dominating this one by 5 seconds. Second place is still a heated battle. Hanging it out on the line, slipping and sliding, grabbing curbs and grabbing gears and throwing the feet around in the footwell to try to get these things slowed down and shifted. Brian Highcotter is 2/10 back from DJ Alessandrini. They're on the brakes. DJ's in really hot into the carousel, but he's got it stopped. Highcotter is running out of corners. While they fight, turn one is 87 and 28. Oh, sideways for Curtis James. Slides, and Johnson will grab the spot, and here's for second. Alessandrini and Highcotter. But I think they're out of time. Tom O'Gorman comes up on lap traffic, but not before he's going to pick up his second checkered flag on the GRIDLIFE iRacers season. Tom O'Gorman gets it done. Tires in the grass at Watkins Glen. Touches the Western New York soil for the first time in GRIDLIFE iRacers competition. Highcotter snagged second from DJ at the very end of that. Let's have a look at how that happened. He runs wide, and the drag race to the line. Brian got him by 23 1/1000ths of a second. That is the margin of victory right there. That is awesome, awesome, awesome stuff for Highcotter and Alessandrini. Second and third between those two, and more drivers fighting to the finish. Val DiPietro and Brenner Del Mar. That's for 11th. Ryan Christoph snags a 10th in all of that. That was an absolute blast. Let's have a look here at our race results and have a little conversation with a couple of our front runners. Tom O'Gorman, winner in this one. Highcotter snagging second, but just. Alessandrini third, Bueller, Austin Cobb fourth and fifth, Crawford, Dalariva, Sharon, Carwile, and Christoph, the remainder of your top 10. Next page, Val DiPietro 11th. We just documented that. Moving on to the other top 20 runners. Some great racing tonight. There was that big pileup at the start of the feature, which was a real big bummer. But the initial starts, really, really strong by everybody to avoid collisions and that sort of thing from multiplying and getting messier and messier. Ebler, Corrence, Patza, Arteat down in 21st, 22nd, 23rd, 24th. And these are some of the drivers that had a bad day. Didn't make it to the end of this one, unfortunately, at Watkins Glen. Another look at your top 10 runners here. O'Gorman, Highcotter, Alessandrini, Bueller, Cobb, your top 5. Thoughts on this? I think this was a blast. Super, super fun. And there were some drivers that weren't super confident in how this was going to go and that these cars were challenging. But I think all in all, some pretty fun racing to have here in this GRIDLIFE iRacers season. We'll see if we can get a couple of the drivers to jump in here and maybe chat. And we'll see if we can talk to our top 3 here before we sign off for the evening. We got Tom O'Gorman, who gets it done again, drops the tires in the Western New York State soil this time. Tom, congratulations. Got it done. Didn't have to race a whole lot of folks after the initial launch, though. But I know you were rooting for this combination for a while. Did it live up to your expectations?
Yeah, I loved it. Are you doing good? How are you?
I'm doing great. I was a little solo tonight. It's been a real busy day and a real busy week. So I'm
good.
tired, but I hope you're having a great time.
And your cat?
He's. I hope he's good. I had to lock him in my bedroom because he meows too much.
Okay.
So he's.
That's good.
Why do you say that?
I was just asking. Yeah. But yeah, like you said, I've been like wanting to drive these cars for ever and ever and ever. I don't know what about my little brain from 1991 makes these cars click so well, but I finally got what I asked for and try to make the most of it.
The whole season of these now, right?
Yes, please.
Okay.
I already designed it. You already have it ready to go. But I almost blew it in qualifying and then had to fight my way back, which was the best part.
It was fun. DJ had a theory that you just like cars that drive bad. Can you confirm this theory?
I like cars that you have to drive.
I like that answer. I like that a lot, Tom. Hey, congrats, man. It was fun to watch you out there. And Brian and DJ had a great fight, so we're going to get to talk to those guys next. But congratulations, and I guess we'll see you next week. Maybe.
Awesome. Yep, I'll be here.
All right, we'll see you. DJ Alessandrini brings it home in third. Was going to be second, but DJ, 23 thousandths of a second. He got you. Take us through it.
He got me. I knew Brian was faster than me. I mean, that's why he started the race in front of me. He played it really cautious into turn one. And I kind of just hung out in Tom's draft as long as I could. I started to slip up a little bit, but I knew the most important thing was to not have any mistakes on the tires because that would take a lot of pace out of it. So Tom was just being a little bit more accurate than me, and he managed to kind of drive away, which took away my draft. That was helping me a little bit. And Brian he reeled me in, and then it was up to me to not make any mistakes, and I just made one on the second to last corner. Dang it!
Brian, we got Brian Heitkotter here now, second by 23 thousandths of a second. Brian, you followed DJ for the vast majority of that one, and in the final moment, final corner, you got by him. Take us through your perspective of that.
Yeah, that was a great race with DJ. I don't know how it looked on the stream, but these cars, like, you really got to drive them calmly, but like on the limit at the same time. So it's like an exercise in discipline. So I'm like stuck behind DJ the whole time. I'm a little bit quicker, I think, but I'm not just going to send it, because then I'm just going to take myself out or both of us out. So I just had to wait for like a little mistake, which DJ finally made on the second to last corner. And it was pretty much a dead heat to the line. I think DJ said he like missed the shift right before the line.
Yeah, I missed the shift.
Man, that was a lot of fun.
Well, super fun to watch, guys. Hey, congratulations. I know Tom was very excited, and he wants a whole season of this. DJ, your thoughts first, and then Brian, you want a whole season of these as well?
I tend to prefer cars that drive well.
Brian?
So that excludes these.
I love variety, so I would say let's race these again, and also race like the F4s again, because those were a lot of fun.
All right, F4s were a popular one for sure, guys. Hey, congratulations, nice runs, and thanks for putting on a show there at the tail end, guys. Congrats, and hopefully we'll see you around next week.
Yeah, thanks to you, Kyle, for holding down the show solo.
Thanks for jumping in and helping me out. This is a busy day. I'm gonna go crash on the couch after this one.
Go cuddle with the cat and chill, dude.
I will. What? Everyone knows about the cat now. Is this a new thing? Tom commented on it too, and I'm trying to figure out where that.
I feel like it's destiny for you to have a cat. I think the first time I met you, I was like, something's missing. Kyle needs something. I don't know what it is. And then you got the cat, and I was like, oh yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah, he meows a little too loud and wants my attention, so I have to put him in the bedroom when I stream. So,
no.
So I need to go get him. So I'm going to go. So congratulations, guys. We'll see you next time.
Yep. Thanks.
Thanks,
guys.
See ya. All right, with that, we're going to wrap up things here for the GRIDLIFE iRacers Tuesday Fun Run. Thanks so much for joining us here on a beautiful Tuesday night. Thanks so much for joining us for the Q&A as well earlier on the 2023 rules. Again, I'm Kyle Heyer. If you'd like to send us a question or an email, help@grid.life. If you'd like to join the Discord, link is on the grid.life website. We'll see you next week. See you next time. Back and out.